Good morning. Let's look at Psalm 118, verses 8 and 9. We've seen how the rescuing love of God, right, is to make us a thankful, prayerful, restful, hopeful people. And here, I think it ought to make us careful. And here's what I mean. It ought to make us the kind of person that's thoughtful and careful about where we find our place of safety. It is better to take refuge in the Lord, verse 8 says, than to trust in man. It's better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. Who and what do you trust in? The Bible says in a different psalm that some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Whatever difficulty you're going through, God is your refuge. Often a refuge in the Psalms is likened to being hid in the cleft of a rock, sort of like you're sheltered from the elements in a cave up in the side of the rock. If you've ever been into the Holy Land at all and traveled around and gotten down into the Negev and the desert regions, you see these kinds of caves that are there that would hide you from the heat of the day or the elements of wind and rain that might come and fall, that would be protective from enemies so they wouldn't see you. It's this idea. The Lord is like that to you. He's a refuge, a place in which you can hide. And it's better to take refuge in him than princes, than all the resources available. So sometimes we feel in our life that if we could move into a position of power and authority and could be respected and be able to speak and legislate and dispense proclamations, and we could dispense authority upon others, and we could be men and women who can get the job done, that we'd be okay. We'd be secure. If we could amass enough resources around us, all the resources that you have can go away like that. It's a siren song to trust in anything external, even something of like a prince. To rely upon anyone in one sense. The Bible says Jesus didn't entrust himself to men because he knew what was in men's hearts. It doesn't mean you don't have reliable people in your life that you can lean on in different circumstances and so forth and build good relationships with. But it is this, that everyone will disappoint you except one. Everyone will fail you at some point except one. So make sure that you are careful, because his love rescues you, and you are leaning in to learn what it means on a daily basis, from small to big, to trust him with your life. Find your refuge in him. It ought to make us, the rescuing love of God ought to make us careful. Take care.